I would say it is finally the debut of Karrion Kross's new group with the Authors of Pain. I don't know why I said it in an accent. They don't have an
Authors of
accent.
Pain.
And Paul Ellering. So, and the debut of a brunette Scarlet Bordeaux. So, I okay, so I'm not like I'm not like this big Karrion Kross fan necessarily, but we've talked about him a lot this past year. I'll
Mm-hmm.
have to look and see when our first upload was because we might have to celebrate our 1 year anniversary on YouTube. But we've talked a lot about how we feel like he was good enough to be in this type of position to potentially be like maybe not like a main event type of guy, but like upper echelon of the
Leader of a
roster.
faction.
Yeah.
I think the leader of a faction is good.
And we were saying that we really liked Triple H rehiring him when he took over and then it just kind of like flopped. They brought him in super hot, had him going after Drew McIntyre, like looking at the title, and then it just kind of like went nowhere. And then he had a bunch of really random feuds that kind of lasted like a week and then he's just been gone. So and you know a lot of wrestlers and stuff that have worked with him or even just around have spoken very highly of him and working with him and saying how he's like the nicest guy ever, he's open to do everything, blah blah blah. Then we know he was supposed to be a part of Bray Wyatt's storyline. So I'm really excited that they're making him relevant again and they're combining like his aesthetic of being, you know, like it's time's up, blah blah blah, and then
Yeah.
with like the strength and brutality of the Authors of Pain, but then there's like the mysterious factor because of Paul Ellering, but then it's like kind of freaky and scary
And
because of
Scarlet.
yeah, and then Scarlet, like you don't know what she's gonna do, and then she's fully dedicated to the role because she dyed her hair to like have a darker look to
Mm-hmm.
her. So I really liked how they debuted the group, and I'm really excited to see where this goes because I feel like Karrion is captivating when he speaks. So I want to see if this can finally be that character that we've been longing to see and like if this is going to propel him forward, you know.
There needs to be a dark, mysterious figure in wrestling, in any promotion. That's what makes wrestling wrestling. And
Mhm.
a guy like Karrion Kross brings a reality to it, and he's so good on the mic. I don't think people really appreciate how really good he is on the mic and how much of a star he can be. He was I think he was at Impact for a little bit. He was a star there, right?
Where? Where?
He went to Impact.
I think he was, yeah, but then he was also a big deal in NXT when they
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I knew
but
that,
when
but
they
yeah.
originally brought him up and Vince flopped
Oh
him.
my
But
god, that mask or whatever it was that he put, it was death sentence.
I know.
The thing I like about Karrion Kross with this whole thing is that it gives him legitimacy bringing up his past feuds, even though they were
Mhm.
weak. Now that actually gets the viewer invested where you're saying, "Oh, it was just a week," but like, "Oh, he's kinda got a point that this happened." And maybe it was accidental, maybe it was on purpose. I don't just how the stars aligned. But that's how you build up a dark heel where he's brutal. He plays mental mind games. And I think at this point, you put him with some strong guys, like the Authors of Pain. You have yourself a like really decent faction where, I mean, if see, I wanna say you could put him in the title picture, but, like, you can't because it's Roman, and the other title picture, like, he'd be a great US title guy to
Mm.
compete with, like, I mean, post-WrestleMania. I think
Yeah.
post-WrestleMania, give him a title shot and just let this slow burn, and he could have,
Yeah,
like, a sick Mania entrance too.
him
Uh,
versus like Kevin Owens for the US title or something or him versus LA
exactly.
Knight.
Those would be such good matches.
And I think I have two things. So one to go along with that. The group also gives them a lot of options because they can have the Authors of Pain be involved in the tag title picture. They can have Karrion be a solo guy. They can have him and Scarlett tag team. They can have
Mhm.
Scarlett even start wrestling because we know she is trained. So I feel like that opens a lot of possibilities too. That it's like they don't all have to be active in one storyline. It can kind of be like there can be multiple going on at the same time. And then I also like that Triple H is, I mean, we're just saying Triple H because we don't know who really came up with it, I guess. But this is such a move that's like, to me, an indication of maybe where Triple H's head is at in regards to like not ignoring what has led Karrion to this point, because if this were a Vince thing, Vince would have kept him off TV for months, brought him back, debuted this faction, and then completely forget that he ever existed before. And so I
Mhm.
like that Triple H is like, no, we're going to incorporate all of those little moments that he had, with Shinsuke and Rey Mysterio and Drew McIntyre, all of that, and add that to his new character and story. Like, instead of ignoring that it ever happened or that it didn't work out or only lasted, like a week or two, I think it's really cool that we're not pretending that the audience is dumb and that
Mhm.
they're just going to forget it because you're trying to brainwash them essentially into
Yeah.
having short-term memory and just like, oh yeah, this is the first time we've ever seen them and blah blah blah. Like, I think that's pretty cool because that's not something that we've ever really seen before. We're like trained as wrestling fans to like forget what happened 2 weeks ago because now we're going somewhere else. And so this is like, no, that did happen 6 months ago. And yeah, it was random and he just did like a backstage segment with tarot cards, but like, no, like it's actually
It meant something.
it meant something. It's relevant to why he is the way he is now. So I feel like that's pretty cool.